Thank you. How do you feel? This was your last performance during this marathon week.
Yes.
So you have the gold rope to cross and you're free again. Free man again.
Actually, no, I have to go back and say the world economy.
Well, thank you for a very interesting introduction. I was a bit surprised to hear you so cautious about this administration. I thought you would be more enthusiastic. We have seen in the press here and on television how the American people, the part of the people that we see on television here, are so full of joy over this administration. While at the same time they are depressed about the economy. You seem to have averaged this out. You are somewhere in between.
No, I'm pretty depressed about the economy. No, look, we have. I guess it's no secret. I had some poems about Obama during the fight for the Democratic nomination, partly because I wasn't sure that he was sufficiently committed to a real progressive agenda. That he was, his commitment on health care seemed a little bit weaker than I wanted to say. His version of history, at least as he described it, was rather different from mine. There were excesses on the right, there were excesses on the left, and I will find the middle way, which was not my view of what had happened. Now, he got much better on the issues once it was the general election campaign, and the initial signs on healthcare are pretty good. And but in fact, one of the odd things is that many of the people who were sort of movement progressives, I should have said, we have a thing in the United States called movement conservatism. Not my phrase. It's theirs, what they call themselves, which is this political movement that pushed the country right over several decades. And it is much. It's not a political party. It controls the Republican Party, at least these days, but it's bigger than that. It's a whole interlocking set of institutions and people, so that it's everything from the Heritage Foundation for Fox News, if you like, and we now have something like that on the left, a progressive movement. It's not nearly as cohesive. It's not glued together in the same way by money. Basically, you can be a professional conservative in a way that you cannot be a professional liberal in the United States. For some reason.
So what are you?
No, I'm a professional economist who happens to be a liberal. The thing is, for some reason, it's easier to find extreme right-wing billionaires than extreme left-wing billionaires. Not entirely, but we now have a progressive movement, and the progressive movement, for the most part, was very much pro-Obama for the Democratic nomination, and now they're shocked to find him appointing sort of very conventional centrist Democrats to many key positions, which I could have told them. They projected, they made him into more of a progressive than he probably is. But the main point is it's going to be very hard. Even now, this is not. Franklin Roosevelt did not win all of his political battles. Obama will not win all of his political battles. He has, it appears, 58 seats in the U.S. Senate, which sounds like an overwhelming majority, but may not be enough to pass everything. So we see. I mean, it's the odds are better than anyone could have imagined 3 or 4 years ago, but they're not overwhelming.
I got a question from somebody in the audience here. I hope you all, some of you at least, not all, but some of you would give me some support here and give me some questions that I could put to Professor Krugman. But one question I got is, why did you support Hillary Clinton? Was this your answer? Was she better on these respects?
She was better on healthcare, clearly.
And you did support her instead of Obama in the primary?
And officially, I don't support anybody. I write for the New York Times, and I can't do endorsements, and in principle, you don't know which party I favor in the United States.
Of course not.
You don't know whether I really wanted to see George Bush win the 2004 election. All of that is a deep mystery. But on healthcare, Hillary was much better. Obama ran against her from the right. ran against a fully universal system. That was a significant issue. And I was worried about the rhetoric of, well, both sides had excesses. So that seemed to me to be a misrepresentation. Now,
we were worried here on this side of the Atlantic, at least at this part of European side of the Atlantic, Northern Europe, that both candidates on the Democratic side appeared to chase each other with escalating protectionist messages.
No, that's been asked at every stage here, and the answer is, look, that was symbolic. No responsible U.S. administration is going to tear up existing trade treaties, and this will be a responsible administration. So it's not a misunderstanding of what was actually going on during that debate.
Good to hear. This team of economists that Obama now appointed, a big group of well-known, well-established names. How does that mix with his message of change? Well, that's also a question I think you got many times. But yeah. we are curious.
Well, there was, first of all, I thought that the message of change was a little abstract. If you actually ask for concrete proposals, Obama is a middle-of-the-road Democrat, which makes him more liberal, obviously, than the American, than the average American politician, but he's not dramatically different. In fact, that's even mathematical, right? We have, you can look at voting records, and we have a quite elaborate Poole-Rosenthal technique. Sorry, but you can go and it turns out that on a left-right spectrum, Clinton and Obama were indistinguishable. They're both about the same. So it's not this is not something you should be expecting. That would be very radically different. There's a special concern, and let me say this I think Obama was right to go for very experienced people for the key financial positions. Things are too dangerous now to have a Treasury Secretary, Finance Minister who needs to learn on the job. We have to have someone who can be ready. We used to like to say ready on day one. In this case, we needed someone who was ready on day -70 because we had essentially a gap right now. So we needed this stuff, and the people are very good. I would like to see a few more people who are offering contrary views somewhere in the administration. I was glad to see that the Vice President has picked a rather strongly progressive economist, Jared Bernstein, as his advisor.
Who will be the most influential? Who will be the most of the names? Yes.
This is what we want. I mean, the line position is Timothy Geithner, who's the Treasury Secretary. That's normally the most influential position. Since Larry Summers is going to be in this rather ambiguous, he's in a job that can either a lot or a little, depending on how it plays out at his advisory position at the National Economic Council. I guess we'll see how that works out. I mean, I'm not too fond of the ambiguity that's created here by having sort of two big guys.
Two? I thought there were 5 or 6 or 7.
No,
what you call Paul Volcker. He's not a big guy, he's 2 meters.
Actually, yes. One of my proudest moments was when I told Paul Volcker personally that he, in fact, exemplified the truth of the doctrine of too big to fail. But I come up to about here. But that's that's an advisory panel. That's not the same thing. No, it's really but look, I'm willing to give all of this the benefit of the doubt. We've got some very, very smart people, experienced. Some of them they've been a lot, aren't they somewhat implicated in some of the past mistakes, but they I think have learned a lot, and unlike current team, are not pathologically incapable of admitting mistakes. So.